Good evening, everyone. My name is Neha, and I am from Infinas Learning Solutions. First of all, I welcome you all for this Python programming course. And I will quickly go through the agenda of today's course and how we are going to take ahead this entire course duration. So first of all, I welcome you to this Python programming classes. And we have got an overwhelming response from all of you. So we have around 500 plus candidates joined across the globe for this class. So once again, thank you for this response. And I'll quickly share our PPT and the agenda that we are going to go through it. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I hope everybody can see. Can you see? Can anybody let me know if anyone can see the screen that I have shared? My screen? Sir, if you can confirm if you are able to see the screen.
Yes, your screen is visible. We can continue. Yeah.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. All right, everybody. So, like I said, I'm going to take you through the programming course that we are going to have and the agenda for those 25 days that we are going to spend together. So we are from Infinas Learning Solutions, and we are a company which is into training and placement. So we provide all types of trainings, right from the professional trainings to the educational trainings to the university trainings, and we cater to all types of IT training as well. All right. So this is we are a team of around people who have 17 plus years of IT industry experience, and we provide virtual trainings on high-end technologies to all levels, starting from freshers to executive leadership. Now, moving forward to our Python course. So, everybody have a look at the course content that you would be interested in. So, we are going to cover what is a programming language. So, not need to worry if you have never heard that what is a program, what is a programming language. It is not a rocket science. We are going to cover that in a very simple manner, and then we go about what is the all of the hype about so-called Python. How can you install the Python? PyCharm, basic programming concepts, which are print, variables, inputs, and so on. And then we will eventually move on to the advanced programming, which would include operators, if conditions, loop, and so on. And then we will cover working with strings, list, tuple, dictionary, sets, user-defined functions, working with inbuilt modules, date, time, and random. Then we will also cover some OOPS concepts, which is a very key concept in any programming language, which is the object-oriented programming language. Then we will cover working with files. Then we also have projects, which you are going to have a live project demonstrations using database. One project using database, and other one you will be using plots, histograms, and analyzing data with the statistics. This will be for the project 2. So this will be a hands-on project that we are going to cover in this course, 2 projects. Now, coming on to this one, the content that how we are planning is, most of you might be aware that we have around 25 days of this course, and we plan to take 1 hour each day. And in between the classes, it's just not that, in between the classes we have quizzes, so that we know that you all are attentive, you're paying attention to what is being taught in the class. Then the quizzes, the people answer the quizzes will have a surprise gifts, mentor prizes. And then we also have a live Q&A session with our mentor. And I would keenly request everybody to please ensure that you attend the class every day without missing a single class, as you will be entitled for a course completion certificate at the end of the class. Okay. And now I would also like to now go through this, our trainer, our mentor. I would like to call our mentor, who is Dr. Swapnil Saurav. So guys, let me briefly introduce you about our trainer. So usually we see that when we have a free classes, the trainer is a new trainer or is not so experienced. But in our case, we have a trainer, we have a mentor who has 17 plus years of industry experience. And not only this, he has published multiple books in the Python. So in case you would want to be interested, or you want to go through the books that sir has written, I will just type in the chat box, and also I'll name the books. He is the author of Python programming. He is also the author of Learn and Practice Data Visualization using Python, and one more book, which is Data Science and Machine Learning using Python. So these are the multiple books that he has written. So you can, by this, you can now understand or have a glimpse of the knowledge that he has, and that is what we are going to share it with you all. So I would encourage everybody to have a keen interest and participation in that, so that you take a full advantage of these free courses. And guys, not only this, we also have, you will also be getting in recordings in case if by any chance you're not attentive, your network is weak, you're not able to hear the trainer. So you will have a recorded session which you can anytime go have a look, read it multiple times, and come up with questions. So in case you are not able to answer the questions or raise the questions in between the classes, you have an opportunity to go to the recorded classes, which we will share after the class is over. After every session, when the classes gets over, you are entitled to listen the recording, come back to the mentor and raise questions. So I have whatever I could think of, I have answered most of the questions that you guys might have. And also you can raise your hands and ask questions. We will be more than happy to take your questions and answer them. And you can also type any questions that you have in the chat box. Again, we will be happy to answer that. And with this, I would like to start our course and hand over to our mentor. And I wish you all the best and happy learning to all of you. Thank you very much. Swapnil sir, all yours.
Yes. Thank you so much, Neha ma'am. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for taking out time on Saturday evening. I'm sure, you all had an option to go to a movie theater to watch a movie, but you decided to spend time with us. Can you make me host? I'm not able to share my screen. I think I can. Sorry. Yes, I can see. I can now. Perfect. So yeah, let me share my screen. So thank you again. And I hope our journey for next 25 days is going to be very interactive, very interesting. Okay. And as we go along, okay, you can ask your questions. Okay. So you can put your questions in Q&A, or you can raise your hand and we'll be happy to answer. Today's first day. Okay. And we have, following things on an agenda. First, we'll talk about programming language itself. Why do we need programming language? Okay, so see, sorry, yeah. So see, computer is very powerful, isn't it? Computer can do a lot of work and work 24/7, right? As a human being, we get tired and we can't handle a lot of data. So we need to take help of computer, okay? But sadly, computer doesn't speak English or Hindi, right? Computer understands only power on and power off, which is binary language. So programming language like Python, which we will be studying for next few days, or for that matter, any language, okay, C, C++, Java. The role is to, take our message, our request, our questions to computer and make computer work, and then take back the answer from computer and display it on our screen, which is again in English format, right? So we call this language as high level language because these languages are very close to the language that we speak as a human being, okay? So all these languages, like when you say Java, C++, Python, they are all high level language, means the the syntax or the way we write the program, right? Syntax is nothing but the grammar of programming language. The way we write, okay? The rules that we follow while writing programming language are very much like English, okay? So it is easier for us to learn. Now, again, if you go and start doing programming assembly language, which is more closer to machine level, it becomes difficult for us to do. Okay, you need to get a lot of training and then only you can do it. But high level language is English, like, the commands are easier to understand. Okay, so that's what, we use programming language. Now, before, I'm sure most of you would come from non-programming background, may not have done programming before. So, okay, so what we, the main purpose of approach any problem, okay, that you want to solve is to break that problem into steps. Okay, like for example, if you want to make a tea, okay, there are certain steps that you need to follow while making a tea, right? Now, let's say you take water in a ball, okay, or in a saucepan, and you put it on gas, okay, and you don't switch on the gas. You don't switch on the gas stove, right? You put everything, okay, you put water, you put milk, but what happens? Water will never boil and you will never get tea, isn't it? So the point I'm trying to make here is the writing program is as easy as making a tea, or if you are careless, then it can be as difficult as making a tea, right? Even one component you miss, you don't get the output as you desire, right? You put the gas on, but you put a lot of water, you put a lot of sugar, you put less milk, whatever, right? If you don't follow the correct steps, you will not get what you want, isn't it? But if you follow the step, if you think logically, if you practice hard, okay, and if you follow the steps, you can make a good tea, isn't it? So my job here, okay, is to make you do two things, okay. One, tell you the basics of programming, to tell you that, okay, tea needs water, milk, sugar, and make you think. Okay, I can't make you an expert, but if you practice along with me, we'll have 1 hour of session every day, and if you again practice 1 hour after the session, I'm sure you will master these concepts easily. Okay, the reason Python is so popular and everybody is trying to learn Python is that Python is easy. Okay, one of the main important point when you talk about Python compared to any programming language, even compared to C, C++, Java, is that it is very easy programming language to learn. Okay, the reason it became popular is because of non-computer science students. Okay, people from history, art, science, pure science, or other branches of technologies. When they did their masters and PhDs, they needed to do the data analysis, and Java, C, C++ was difficult for them to learn. So they found Python, and they found Python so easy that everybody started learning. Okay, so if you have no programming language, and if you have never done programming before, I can tell you that you will find it easier to learn than someone who has done programming in Java before, because there's a lot of concepts which Python challenges and has removed. Okay, so when a Java developer sees Python code, the first reaction is shocking. Like, they don't believe that a programming language can exist as simple as that. Okay, and if you have never done programming before, for you everything will like, oh yes, it's easy, I can do it. Okay, because it's very much like the way we talk, the way we write our own languages. Okay, so as we go along, I'll talk about the differences between Python and other languages, why Python is getting popular. Okay, I told you, right, main reason that it is a easiest language of all to learn. And second reason is that there's a big user base, or that big number of developers who actually develop programs in Python. So because of which, what happened is people keep on adding new features to Python. Okay, when I say new features, that means it's talking about new capabilities, like using Python for developing a web framework, developing a website, Django, Flask. These are some of the top framework which are again Python based for developing website. Not only developing website, if you want to play games, if you have to develop games, if you want to automate networking processes, if you want to develop data science project, okay, you name it, Python has capabilities to help you. Okay, people from construction background, civil background, architecture background, they all learn Python because Python has different libraries which helps them to develop their work better. Okay, so again, as I said, it's easy and it has a lot of wide applications, because of which this language has become popular. Okay, today being first day, we will just make sure that everybody has the required software. All the software that we're going to talk about for Python is all free. Okay, so you don't have to pay even a rupee to download or use those software. All these softwares are available for free. Okay, so so as I said, Python is a language which basically translates our commands into commands English into machine level commands, right? So we call them as interpreter. Okay, so Python is called yeah.
Hi sir, sorry to interrupt you in between.
Sorry,
Few member are requesting, can we have a like Hindi English mixed classes? So in between,
बिल्कुल कर
like, yeah,
सकते हैं.
sure, yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. Sure. तो अभी तक हमने क्या देखा है कि पाइथन जो है सबसे आसान लैंग्वेज है. ओके, हमने अभी तक कुछ किया नहीं, अभी करेंगे आगे. बट आपको ये चीज जानना है कि प्रोग्रामिंग से वी कैन मेक कंप्यूटर वर्क, राइट. हम जो चाहे वो कंप्यूटर से करवा सकते हैं इफ यू नो द प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज, राइट. इसीलिए प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज जरूरी है, आप किसी भी बैकग्राउंड से क्यों ना हो, राइट. यू कैन बी अ जावा डेवलपर और यू कैन बी अ say retail guy, right. हर एक फील्ड में there is a need for applications of computer science, and Python, using Python you can develop your own mini applications. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen is already shared, right. ठीक है. तो हम बात कर रहे थे Python के लिए. Python is a software programming language and Python is called interpreted language, or it's an interpreter. Okay, so there are two types of languages in a way they interact with machine. एक होता है interpreter based language and दूसरा है compiler. Interpreter translate each line of code from English to machine level, right. Compiler, okay, Java, C++, compiler based language, they take complete code and translate at one time. Okay, that is minor difference, but it will not have any impact on the learning of Python. Okay, so if you want to download software, okay, सबसे आसान है, you go to Google Collab. Okay, so COLAB, you type COLAB and it goes to Google website. Google has developed a Collab where you can do program. Okay, you don't have to install any software. Okay, you go and you click on new notebook. Okay, you click on new notebook, it opens a new notebook where you can do programming. Best part ये है कि आपको प्रोग्राम को सेव भी नहीं करना है, ऑटोमेटिकली ये आपके गूगल ड्राइव में सेव हो जाएगा. सो प्रोग्राम विल गेट सेव्ड इन गूगल ड्राइव. ओके, you don't have to use or install any software. आप मोबाइल से कर सकते हैं, टैब से कर सकते हैं, लैपटॉप ऑफ कोर्स डेस्कटॉप से कर सकते हैं. अगर आपका डेस्कटॉप लैपटॉप पुराना है, doesn't have enough RAM or hard disk, okay, so Collab is the best. Okay, it's provided Google and you can see यहाँ पे लिखा होगा. Okay, so okay, so अभी जब हम प्रोग्राम स्टार्ट करेंगे तब लिखा हुआ आएगा कि कितना रैम और कितना हार्ड डिस्क आपको दिया है गूगल ने. Okay, so this is called notebook. Okay, Jupyter is also a notebook. So Google Colab is very much like Jupyter notebook. Now, if you have not heard of notebook before, Jupyter notebook before, don't worry. That will not stop you from learning Python. Okay, whatever I'm going to do. Okay, number one instruction from my side. Okay, I do not want you to write anything or type anything. Okay, fold your hands. Okay, open your mind and put your eye on the screen. Okay, just follow me for next whatever, right, 1 hour. उसके बाद आप जाके practice कीजिए. We will share you the recording, right sir? We are sharing the recording also with them, correct? आपके पास स्टडी मटेरियल भी आपके पास शेयर होगा. So program will
Yes.
also get shared, video will also get shared. So आप, okay, if you are watching something else, okay, or if you're trying to practice, your attention will be to get your output. ठीक है. And first time कर रहे हैं, कुछ लोग कर रहे होंगे, आप लोग first time, तो क्या होगा कि you might get some error and then you will start trying to debug the error. उस बीच में क्या हुआ कि I'll move on to next topic. फिर you'll get lost. अरे क्या हो गया पता नहीं चल रहा है. And after 5-10 minutes you will give up. Okay, so don't give up. One second thing is, don't practice, don't take a note, don't practice, just watch and understand. Okay, I told you Python is easy. अगर आपको देख के समझ में नहीं आएगा तो then we cannot say Python is easy, isn't it? Okay, so this is your screen, this is your Google Colab screen, and I'll tell you how to do a program on Google Colab without installing any software. उसके बाद we'll see different software जो हम अपने मशीन पे इंस्टॉल कर सकते हैं, अगर आपको अपने मशीन पे इंस्टॉल करना है तो. प्रॉब्लम क्या है गूगल कोलैब के साथ कि आपको हमेशा इंटरनेट से कनेक्टेड रहना पड़ेगा. कोलैब, सिंस इट्स अ क्लाउड बेस्ड टूल, you have to be online to work with Google Colab, right? Simple. So this is your file name, untitled10.ipnb. You can go and rename it. Okay, so I'll rename it as py. आज का डेट 10th है तो py10 dec. Okay, ये मैंने नाम दे दिया. Now this is, you see this play button, ये है हमारा run button, इससे हम प्रोग्राम रन करेंगे. So before, of course, you have to type your code. Okay, so simple code. Print bracket open, okay, quotation, single quotation. Print, Python is case sensitive. Okay, so Python के लिए print with p small and print with p capital are two different words. Okay, so in this case I'm typing print all small, right? Print all lowercase, simple bracket open. Okay, and I have put quotation, and now I type welcome.
Sir, it seems that your screen is not visible to a student, I guess. But it is there. Let me unmute one of the student.
Okay, I'll stop share and start share again.
Yeah. Hi Bhagwat, I have unmute you. So can you just let us know what is the, like, are you able to see the screen now?
Only audio is coming. No, please send the link and this was used in the lecture, right? Okay, Priyanka says that she can see it.
Okay. So only the issue with a few member, I guess. Yeah. Okay, no problem. So we can continue then. Yeah. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, Akash and others. Okay, yes. So yes, a lot of people are saying. Great, thank you. Okay, so I've written my first line of code. Okay, I've written my first line of code, which is print bracket open, quotation, welcome, quotation close, and bracket close, simple bracket close. Okay. Now I want to see the output, isn't it? You are so excited to see what will this give us. You print on this play button. Okay. Okay. At the moment you print, first time it will take some, it'll take some time, few seconds to run because it's a cloud-based, right? It's connecting to the Google server. So it takes time, but second time onwards, it will not take so much time. So let's, yes, connected. Now it will execute. You see the RAM, okay? It has given us 12 GB RAM, right? My laptop has only 8 GB RAM, okay? So, but Google Colab has given me 12 GB RAM. Disk space dekhiye, 22 GB, 22 GB, no, sorry, 107 GB, right? 107 GB space you have. So, you can do a lot of program on Google Colab. Okay. So when we clicked on print, it gave us output as welcome. You can see the output here itself. तो हमने जो भी लिखा है print के अंदर, print function के अंदर, ये output बाहर आ गया यहाँ पे on your screen. Okay. So I have used the word print function. Okay. So before we talk about print function, I want to talk about this key called hash key. Okay, hash in Python is used to give a comment. Okay, you can type whatever you want to type. Now Python will not read it. So hash is called comment. Comments are meant for programmers. आपने आज प्रोग्राम लिखा है, एक महीने के बाद आप भूल जाएंगे कि आपने क्या लिखा है, कैसे लिखा है, क्यों लिखा है, राइट? तो आप अपने लिए कमेंट लिख सकते हैं वहां पे. You can write comment for your fellow programmers as well. Like, I have written a program. Tomorrow you have to come and make some edit. Okay, you will not know what I have done, isn't it? So it's better, it's a good practice to write comment, relevant comment, which will help human beings. It's for human being, not for software, not for not for computers. Okay, so of course I don't want to write some junk comment. I'll write some good comment. हमने सीखा है print, right? Print is called inbuilt function. Later, okay, maybe on 7th, 8th day, we'll learn to create our own function. Okay, pehle we are calling print as a inbuilt function. Okay, what does it do? Okay, inbuilt function matlab hua ki they have a predefined meaning. So when you run print, okay, it has some predefined meaning. Okay, now in this case, predefined meaning is display the content on the screen. Okay, when you say print will display the content onto your screen. Okay, and it's inbuilt function. So there are some steps which are already part of it, which will display on the screen. We don't have to know how it displays, just that we need to know that it displays on the screen. Functions are always followed by simple bracket open and close. Functions are always followed by. Okay, agar we'll say ki input lena hai, input is a function. So the moment I say input is a function, I'll say write an input function. You will say input and you'll put bracket open and close automatically. Okay, because Python, or for that for that matter, most of the programming language, okay, Java, C++ also, they make functions use simple bracket after itself, right? So print simple bracket, input simple bracket. Now inside this, whatever you give, okay, inside this bracket, whatever you give will be printed. So I'm giving whatever which is welcome here, but welcome is in the quotation. So जो text होता है, text is always given in quotes. CQ, okay, quotes. Now Python allows both single quote, double quote. Okay, you can use triple single quote, triple double quote, right? So I can say hello. Okay, I can use. Okay, so Python allows both, or no, I shouldn't say both, all the 4 types of quotation. You see, single quotation, double quotation, triple double, and triple single quotation. All 4 are valid ways of writing text in Python. Okay, but what you have to remember is whatever you started with, same thing you have to end with. अगर आपने सिंगल कोट से स्टार्ट किया है तो आपको सिंगल कोट से ही एंड करना है. डबल कोट से स्टार्ट किया है, डबल कोट से ही एंड करना है. ट्रिपल से स्टार्ट किया तो ट्रिपल से ही एंड करना है. You cannot use single here and then end with double. Okay, so we say print welcome because welcome is a text, so we have to put it in single quotation or triple single quotation, right? But I just said whatever you start with, same thing you have to end with, right? So print welcome, and then you run it, you get output as welcome. Later, when we talk about strings, we'll talk about the difference between triple and single. There's no difference between single and double. You can use single and double anywhere. A triple quotation is used for multi-line. Okay, we'll talk about it later. Okay, don't worry. So हमने अपना first program लिखा है Google Collab में. Okay, so you all can use Google Collab to write your function Python programs, and it doesn't need us to pay any money, doesn't need us to pay or download or install any software. But it requires us to be connected online always, right? If you are not able to connect online, then we can't run because it's a cloud-based application. अगर आपको अपने machine पे install करना है, okay, if you want to install, first thing that you have to install is, of course, Python. And python.org is the official website of downloading Python. Python.org. And you go to downloads here. Okay, downloads. If you are using Windows machine, you can directly click here, Python 3.11.1. Okay, or you can go to Mac or whichever version, other platform. Okay, Linux or other platform you are using, you can download the version from different platform. But you have Windows and Mac here. You go to Windows and you can download the Python version. Okay, so this is how you download. So when you download it, and we'll share a document where you can see how to download step by step. But when you go, you click on it. Of course, it will start downloading, and then you double click on it. Double click, install. It will get installed on your machine. Okay, so that's how you download and install Python. So when you install Python, and it will get added to your program files. Okay, so if I type Python here, you see, मेरे पास पुराना version है, 3.10 वाला version है. So you see here, it says Python 3.10 app. Okay, like this, you will also get in your program files. Okay, once you download and install. Okay, and when you click on it, you get a Python screen. Okay, and you see this triple angular bracket. Triple angular brackets is called Python prompt. So when you see triple angular bracket, it means that you have correctly installed Python. If you don't see, if you see some error, that means you have not installed. कुछ तो गड़बड़ हुआ है installation में. Okay, so you'll have to uninstall and install again. Okay, see, you can install multiple versions of Python. You can have Python 10, Python 11. So you can download and install multiple versions of Python without any problem. कोई problem नहीं होता है. Multiple versions will run on your machine. Okay. Okay. So that is your first checkpoint that you have installed Python correctly. Next, same thing, we'll do it here. Print, single quotation, welcome, and you hit run. So you see, it prints welcome on the screen. So command wise, the content that we're going to learn is exactly same. So since all are Python program, right? So that doesn't mean that agar Collab mein kiya, to it will be kuch aur, Google mein kuch aur, PyCharm mein kuch aur, aisa nahi. Okay, the instructions that we are going to learn, the programming that we are going to learn, it's same irrespective of the platform you use, Google, Collab, or your PyCharm or Jupyter Note. Okay, or could be Visual Studio Code, VS Code. Okay, whether your system is Windows or Mac or Linux, doesn't matter. Okay, code is exactly same. So today we'll just make sure that we tell you the different instructions to install Python, so that if you have not installed any software by now, you can install it and then you can start practicing what we discuss. Okay. So this is how you install Python on your machine. But see, this is not very user friendly. Okay, this is good. This is important. Okay, this is the core. If you don't have Python software, you can't execute Python program on your machine. But this is not user friendly. Okay, that's why we prefer to install some other software along with it. So you can install Visual Studio Code, you can install Jupyter, you can install PyCharm. I prefer PyCharm. Okay, my personal favorite is PyCharm, and PyCharm is again available for free to download and install. The company is called JetBrains. Okay, JetBrains is the company. So you say JetBrains. Okay, and you say JetBrains PyCharm. Okay, and you say download. Okay, so you download here. Okay, so this is the place from where you can download your software. Okay, PyCharm software. So PyCharm is an advanced notepad you can think of. It's just an editor. Okay, it is just an editor which uses Python. So that's why first you have to download Python, then you download PyCharm. Okay, so if you download Python and then you download PyCharm, your PyCharm will work without any problem. But let's say if you downloaded PyCharm before Python, so when you downloaded PyCharm, PyCharm will look for Python. It will not find Python, so it will not set it to Python home. So if you download Python after that, we have to manually go and make some edits in the settings. Okay, you have to manually go and point PyCharm to the Python home. Okay, but if you download Python before PyCharm, then you don't have to do that. Okay, so it will work automatically. So that's why I say, okay, first you download Python and then you download PyCharm. Okay, great. So when you download this, okay, when you go to this PyCharm download homepage, you see that two options: download, download. This is professional, and this is community. Professional version is used for companies. Like I use a professional version at my work. Okay, so what PyCharm says is, if you are making money from my software, you pay me. Okay, if you are not making money, if you are using for learning purpose, training, learning, then you use community. Almost same functions are there. Okay, just it has little bit support of HTML, JavaScript, and SQL. But what it says is, if you but from Python perspective, it supports everything. It's equally good as professional. Okay, this is for us to practice. Okay, for people who wants to learn Python, they can download and use it. So don't download this blue one. Okay, blue one, if you download it, after 30 days, it will ask you to pay for the license. Okay, but community is perfectly fine for learning and development perspective. Okay, so download this community version and install it. Okay, so when you download this and install it, you might get a screen something like this. Okay, this is my screen. So you'll get a screen like this. Okay, this is a screen. Now your screen can be different color, it can be black, it can have different font, different size. What I have done, you can always go back and change those things in the settings. Okay, so I have actually made some changes in the settings. Okay, that's why my screen looks different than default installation. Okay, default installation is generally has black background, it has smaller font, different font. Okay, I have used it for based on what I like to use. Okay, so you can also customize your PyCharm screen. Okay, and then I go here. Okay, so when you're using PyCharm for the first time, you'll have to create project. Okay, you'll have to create project. Now projects are nothing but it's a folder basically. Okay, in a crude language, it's a folder. It's a folder which PyCharm saves it as a project. So you have to give the project name and you have to give the location where the folder will be created. Okay, so my files are in this drive. Okay, but I can go and change it to D drive. Okay, and then you see here, so one is location where your folders will be created. Later when we write our programs, the files will also be created at the same location. So that's why giving location to the project is important. Okay, because this project will have all your files. So all your future files will be saved in this folder. Okay, so give it properly where you want all your files to be safely stored, right? And then you see it needs to know interpreter. Okay, Python interpreter. I told you, you can have multiple Python installed on your machine. It can happen that you start working on a legacy software which was done in Python 3.6. So you continue to build 3.6 application, and now your manager wants you to work on latest new development work also. The latest will be 3.10 or 3.11. So you have two projects that you're working on. One is 3.6, one is 3.10, one is 3.11, right? So you'll have multiple Python versions installed. And if you want this project to be, like in this case, if you see, I have 3.11 and 3.10, right? 3.10 and 3.11. Now, if I want this project to link it to 3.11, I will select this as interpreter. Okay, but if I want to use 3.10 for this work, I will select this. So you can choose the interpreter that you want to link your project with. Okay, absolutely no problem. All of these Python versions are equally used, okay, in your in the computer. So you will not have any problem linking your project to any of these interpreter. So आपको यहाँ पे लोकेशन देना है जहां पे आपको फोल्डर और फाइल सेव करना है, और okay, if you had installed like Python before, this field will be automatically populated. मैं वही बोल रहा था, अगर आप Python पहले इंस्टॉल करेंगे फिर PyCharm करेंगे तो ये यहाँ पे अपने आप Python का लोकेशन आ जाएगा। अगर आपने PyCharm पहले इंस्टॉल किया, Python बाद में किया है, तो यहाँ पे आपको मैनुअली जाके एडिट करना पड़ेगा। यहाँ पे add local, create virtual, okay, you'll have to add the location here. Okay, so in my case anyway it is installed, so I could say create. Okay, so you create, but I don't want to do it. But when you are using it for the first time, you say create. Create करने पे क्या होगा, you will see this is PR1 is my project name. So PR1 is my project name. So you will see PR1 as project here. Okay, and all your files that you create will be saved under this project. Okay, so see, these are my files which I've already created so far. You go and you do right click on it, okay, and say new, and you can see directory, package, Jupyter Notebook, HTML. Okay, if you want Python file, you click on Python file and you give a name, right? You give a name like practice one, program one, my program, whatever you want to give, and you say okay. Okay, here it's asking you only the file name. It is not asking us to enter the complete path where we want to save file, because the file will get automatically saved in the project folder, right, which we had created in the beginning. Okay, automatically all the files will be in the same location. Okay, and once you give the name, do not give spaces. Whether it is project name or file name, please do not give spaces. Do not give spaces in the project, do not give spaces in the file name. Okay, and then you go and you click on save. Okay, or okay, in this case okay, I'm going to say cancel because I don't want to, but of course you have to say okay, and the file will be created something like this. And here you go and we say print welcome. So when you say print welcome, for the first time you have to click on the file name, right click, okay, and you see there are options called here run P1. P1 is my file name, isn't it? So I say run P1, and you can see the output here at the bottom. It says welcome. So right click, you say run, and at the bottom you can see the output. Okay, once you do that, okay, P1 will be automatically added here. Okay, and you can start clicking play button here or bottom left here. You see bottom left, you can click here, or you can even do the shortcut, which is Shift F10. You can also run it using Shift F10. Okay, so we have covered almost 45 minutes of our session, and today we have learned so far. We still have a lot of things to cover today. So today we have seen what programming language is, why we should learn Python. Okay, what are the software that you need to install, right? Okay, you can use Google Colab, you can use Python plus PyCharm. Okay, but there are a lot more other options which are available, right? You can use Jupyter Note, you can use Visual Studio VS Code, okay, and other softwares. Okay, now we also seen how to run our program, how to write and run, right? How to create, how to write our program and run in Google Colab, in PyCharm, or directly on Python prompt also, right? The triple angular bracket that you see, Python prompt. We learn how to write and run program from 3 different places. Now it's up to you. You can choose whichever way you want to, and you can practice, okay, the programs. Any questions so far? All good? Awesome. So how was it? Are you able to understand? Any question, any trouble, any problem in understanding what we are doing?
No, I think so far it is good. So I'm getting a response on the chat box. So people are getting, and then they are going through that with the same pace that we are like running. So yeah, so far it is good. Yeah.
Awesome. This is so good. Okay, great. So there are few things which we wanted to do today so that you get some assignment, some task to do. First thing that we need to know is, of course, we know how to do print now. We also need to understand, okay, that before you work with any programming language, we need to understand what kind of data we are dealing with. Okay, what are the type of data, okay, that we deal with. Okay, so at very basic level, Python has 5 types of data. Okay, 5 types of data. Okay, let's see one by one. So when I say val1 equal to 5, what does that mean? See, val1, I have not put it in quotation. I said text has to be in quotation, but val1 is not in quotation. Okay, so when you put a text not in quotation, they are called as variables. Okay, so val1 is a variable. Val1 is a variable in this case. Okay, now if I put val1 something like this, it becomes a value. Which value? Text value. Or in Python, we call it as string value. So if I put in quotation, like welcome is a value, okay? But val1 without quotation is a variable name, okay? So val1 is a variable name which is storing a value called as 5. I have assigned, just like mathematics, right? You say x equal to 5, val1 equal to 5. That means I'm assigning a value 5 to variable or called value1 or val1. Okay? If you want to print the output of value1, okay? If you want to print the value, value of value1. So you say print val1. Okay? Now, val1 is a variable. Okay? That's why I have not given quotation, even though val1 is a text, okay, we write as characters, but in this case, it is not a value, it is a variable which has value 5. So if you do not give quotation, if you write something like this and do not give quotation, Python will start thinking, "Arey, kya hai, what is value 1? Oh, value 1 is," then it'll start looking up. "Pehle kuch bola kya? हाँ, yeah, value 1 is 5. So when you run it, you will get value 1, 5. Okay. But see, if I put this in quotation, what happens? Python will not use its brain. वो मालूम है कि ये तो text है. It will not go and check what is there. Okay, it will just go and print value 1. So whatever you put in text in quotation is printed as it is. If you don't print in quotation, then it will go and search for its value. Okay, I can use both text and numeric number again here. So I can say print and I say value of variable val1. Now, when I run it, since the entire thing I have put it in quotation, it has printed entire thing here. Now I'm going to say comma. When you're adding two different values to any function, of course, to print also it holds true, you have to separate the values by comma. Comma is to separate the values that we give to function. So I want to give two set of values. One is this text value, which is value of variable val1, and I will say val1. And let me say I give equal to here. So value of variable val1 equal to, this is as it is. So now when I run it, okay, you see the output. Okay, value of variable val1 equal to 5. Value of variable val1 equal to, these are the text that is printed as it is, equal to, okay, as it is. 5 is coming from val1. 5 is coming from val1. Val1 variable is 5, isn't it? So it's coming from val1. So now what happens when you run this, you get both the content in the quotation and the variable which has the value. Okay. Now I told you 5 is an integer. How do you know it is integer? So we have one more function called type. Okay. It gives the data type of variable. So when I say print type of val1, now I'm using two functions. Print is one function. Inside print, I'm using a type. Type is another function. So when you say type of val1, type of val1 will be the data type of val1, which in this case is integer. I'll talk about what integer is. And now I'm saying print it. So when you have two functions, first the innermost function will be executed, then the outermost. First the innermost, then outer, finally outermost. Okay. So finally outermost function will be called. Okay. So when I run it, let's see the output. You see, it is integer. Okay. So integer, class integer. Python treats everything as integer. Even the basic data type, integer float is treated as class and object. Okay. So that's why you see it doesn't say integer, it says class integer. Okay. Int stands for integer. Okay, means it can take value, non-decimal value, non-decimal values, and minus infinity to plus infinity. It can take negative numbers and positive numbers. So example could be -5, okay, -5, -99, 0, all these are examples of integer values. Okay. Now let's see the second type. Okay, I'm going to copy this and paste it here as it is. And now I'm going to say I'm going to say 5.8, right? Now, when I say 5.8, okay, I'm going to remove this extra text. We don't want it. And when I say 5.8, what do you get? You get class float, isn't it? This is float. Float means, okay, no, number with decimal. Number with decimal. So example -5.0, because 0.0 is also a decimal, isn't it? 5.0, 99.1, right? 0.0, right? This 0.5. All these are examples of float data type. So if you have to deal with number where you need to have decimal values, you need to use float. Okay. Now the third numeric type is complex number. Okay. And we are not going to discuss more on this. This is not used often, but of course it has its own application. 5J. Okay, what is 5J? In mathematics, you all would have done imaginary numbers, right? Imaginary numbers are nothing but square root of -1, right? So that I, what we write in mathematics, is written as J in Python. Okay, in Python we write J as, so it is same as I of maths, okay, which is square root of -1. Okay, so if I, here let's see the data type of this complex. Okay, it is called complex. Okay, you know what complex mean now, right? Now if I say print val1 into star stands for multiplication. I'm going to multiply value 1 with another value 1. That means I'm saying value 1 square, right? I'm saying 5 into 5. So here I'm saying 5j into 5j. So 5j into 5j is going to be 25j square. Okay, and j square is nothing but -1. So this should give us -25. So you get -25, which is an integer part, right? So it doesn't stop there. Python did not stop just at -25. It added 0j. There's no point of adding 0j, right? But it added because if you had just -25, it would have been an integer. Now it's a complex number. So complex number should result into complex numbers itself. So that's why it's adding 0j. Okay. So this is the third numeric type, which probably, we won't use, at least for next 25 days, we won't be using complex. We'll be using other four types. Other two types we have already seen, int and float. We'll see two more types. Okay. So one next type is your string itself. Okay. So let me copy this. So I'm going to say string, right? So I'm going to say good evening, let's say. Now, good evening is a string because we wrote it in quotation, right? So now when I type the value, type the data type of val1 here, and when you run it, you get string, right? String stands for, str stands for string, all kinds of text. Okay, so for example, even if I put val1 equal to 55, so 55 is also a integer value, sorry, string value. Okay, because we have put it in the quotation. Quotation is always for string, not for integer. Now you want to see the behavior, how this is behaving different than the other one. Okay, so I can show you. If I type val2 here equal to 55, and let's say I type val3 equal to 44, and I'll type another val4, okay, which I put 44 but in quotation. Now let's try to print this. Val1 plus val4. Val1 is string, isn't it? Because we put in quotation. So type will give you string only. Here also you'll get type as string. Now when you print val1 plus val4 and when you run it, okay, it gives you 55, 44. It will concatenate. When you add two string together, it concatenates. Even though you have all numbers, but we have treated these numbers as string. So it is not being treated as string, but as a, they're no longer being added like a number would get added. They're getting added like a text would get added. So when you say good plus evening, it is good evening. 55 plus 44 is 5544, 5544. Okay. Now, if I do same thing here without quotation, print val2 plus val3. Now, when you run it and see, okay, you get 99. You get 99. Okay, that's how the string and numbers differ. Okay, the fifth data type that we're going to talk about is called Boolean. Okay, Boolean takes just two values, either true or false, and you have to remember the spelling. Okay, don't worry, tomorrow when we talk about operators, okay, not tomorrow, next Monday when we meet, okay, when we talk about operators, okay, it is going to be, we'll talk more in detail about where Boolean are used, where do we use numbers, okay? So for this to be Boolean, you have to write true in this format only. T capital, everything is small. Okay, you cannot write the way you want to. T capital, RUE only is Boolean. Now you see, though true is text here, but we have not put quotation. Because if you put quotation, it becomes string. And when you don't put quotation, it is a Boolean value, right? So just like true, you can have false also. Okay, false, F is capital, rest everything is small. No, my mistake. Okay, sorry. Tomorrow we are meeting. Okay, my mind was somewhere else. Tomorrow also we are meeting, guys. Okay, sorry. Okay, same time tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Okay, I was okay. So next 25 days continuously we'll meet at same time. Okay, so tomorrow also we are meeting. Sorry. Okay, I somehow missed that. So tomorrow also 4 o'clock we'll meet. Okay, tomorrow also and Monday also we'll meet. Okay, so tomorrow when we meet, we'll talk more about how to use operators. Okay, so let's finish off this fifth data type, which is your Boolean. And when you run it, you can actually see it's called bool. Okay, bool means it is Boolean type. Okay, Boolean will have just two values, true and false. Okay, it can have either true or false, nothing else, no third value. Okay, so these are the different data types. Okay, I want to do one more concept before we end the day today. Okay, so that tomorrow when we meet, we can directly start doing some more programming. Okay, indentation. You see, all the lines of code that we have written is from the first position. Even if I give a space here, it will become wrong. So Python says that you have to write from very first position. There are special cases, we'll talk about it when we do, if and else and, loops, how to give and when to give indentation, when to give. Okay, by default, everything has to be in same line of code. You cannot give even one single space because it changes the meaning. It changes the meaning, where in this case the new meaning doesn't hold true, but there are some cases where we have to do it. Okay, so there is no choice. Python is very strict with indentation. When it says you don't have to give, you don't have to give. When it says you have to give, you have to give, because if you don't give, then it'll throw error. Okay, we'll see this maybe when we talk about if else. So indentation is very important in Python. Indentation is very important. Okay, it is mandatory. Okay, now now what we've been doing is we are directly getting the values right here. Okay, directly we are saying val2 equal to 55, val4 equal to 44, right? But rarely in a program your values will be written in the program, right? You would want value from the user. For example, if you are building a ticket booking system, you want user to enter the destination and source and date and time and name and address, phone number. You don't put those values in built in your own program. So we have third function of the day that we can talk about. We have seen print, and then we have seen, what is the second function that we have seen? Type. We have seen print and we have seen type. Third function that we can talk about is called input. It is used to read value from the user. Okay, so when I say name equal to input, okay, and now I say name, okay, print name. So here it is used like any other variable, just that we are not assigning value, but we want to read or we want to get the value from the user. Okay, so in normal circumstances, if you see this program, you have exit code 0. Exit code 0, or for matter, any exit code you get, that means your program has executed. When you see exit code, either 0, -1 or +1 or anything else, it means that your program has executed. But if you see 0, that means it had executed correctly. 0 means correct execution. And when you make some mistakes, it will not be 0. Okay, it will be something else. Mostly it will be -1 or 1. Okay. Now, when I run this program now, okay, you don't see exit code 0, right? That means program is still running. Program has not finished. It is still running. Why it is waiting? It is waiting for us to give the value for input. Input is used to take the value from the user. So now if I go and say Sachin and I hit enter, see Sachin is printed on the screen. Okay. So what happens is sometimes, it is very confusing, right? Because program is waiting and you don't know why it is waiting or what should I enter. In this case, we have only one input, so we know that we are trying to enter name. But if there are multiple values, you don't know which one to enter, isn't it? So you can also give comment or text inside input. Only one text is allowed. Text obviously means quotation. Enter your name, colon. So now when I run it, it says enter your name and still waiting for me to enter the value here. Now I say Sachin. And then I say, when I say print name, it printed name on the screen. Okay. So we have used input to read the value from the user. Okay. So this is what I had planned. Okay. I will continue from here tomorrow. Any questions, guys? Anything? Okay. So you can give me your feedback so that, based on feedback, we can change the future sessions. Okay. Was it good, not good? If not good, how can we improve it? Okay. Can we a little faster? Can we a little slower? Okay. You want me to repeat something? Okay. Do let me know your feedback and if you have any questions.
Yeah, there are few members who has raised the hand, so I'll allow them to talk. So I'll just ask them to
Sure.
unmute. Yeah, so I'm just unmuting Monica Agarwal. Yeah, so yeah. Hi, Monica. You can unmute yourself and then you can talk.
Good evening, sir. It
Yeah,
was a
very good
very nice
evening.
session. First of all, I have a question. I
Hmm?
couldn't get the thing where you explain the path assignment to the files, where to save the files. That part I couldn't get it completely.
Okay. So see, when you create a new project here, right? So this is the path which you get automatically, right? But you can change it, you can change it to, let's say, D drive, my programs. Okay. And then, you give so basically project is your folder name, right?
Okay.
And I say my file, something like that. Now, when you
Mm-hmm.
say create, when you say click on create, okay, it will create a project with blank file. There will not be anything.
Mm-hmm.
So when you add a new file, when you go and say, new file, new, where is new here, new and new Python file. Okay. This file will automatically get saved here. The project folder path that you have given. So
Okay.
project needs your path, files will not need your path because by default, all your files will get saved in the same folder, which,
Mhm.
where you are defining your project.
Okay. And that part where you explained that multiple Pythons or that things can be
Correct.
saved, downloaded, and that part.
Correct. So you have settings here. Okay. And in settings, you can actually go. So this is where you can change your editor setting. Okay. You can change it to the font and size and all. Okay. And you have option here, project and Python interpreter. So this is
Okay.
where you can go and you can change the interpreter that you want to. So in the settings, project interpreter, you can go and change, okay, whichever Python you want to use.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Monica. So I'll also unmute Abhijit as well. So he has raised a hand. Yep. Hi, Abhijit. You can unmute yourself and then you can talk. Abhijit, you there? Abhijit Banshal? No worries. I'll unmute Sujal Pawar. Hi, Sujal.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi. You can talk now. Yeah.
Sir, my question is that I didn't got the difference between function and data types.
Function, we have not spoken about function. See, data types is about the type of the data as the name suggests, right? Data type of the data.
Yes,
Okay. What
yes.
data you want to use? You want to use integer or float. Okay. So if you want to use
Okay,
integer, you'll say it is integer data type. Functions are designed to make some specific work. Okay. So it has a
okay,
predefined meaning. So for example, print will print on the screen. Input, input will read the value from the screen. Type will display the data type. So these are small word, right? Print, input is a very small word, a single word, isn't it? But there's a big meaning behind it. And later classes, we'll see how to create our own functions. So these are inbuilt functions, which are already written, given to us by Python developer. I know whoever has developed Python. We will learn how to
yes.
create our own functions later.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Sujal. So there are a few more members, Swapnil. So Deepak is also wants to discuss or ask something. So Deepak Sahu.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi
Yeah,
Deepak.
hi.
First of all, the meeting was great. Sir, I
Awesome.
want to just need a question that uh, is there any need of a semicolon at a terminating point for running the program?
Okay. So it is not needed. You have seen that, I have run the entire program without semicolon, right? But Python allows you to give semicolon. Okay, you can give, it will not throw error. You can give semicolon, it will not throw error. But Python says, if you hit enter, I know it is end of line. You don't have to tell me by giving special semicolon. So that's how, Python has made it even more simpler. But let's say for some reason you want to print all these lines together in one single line, right? Then
Yes, sir.
semicolon is required. Okay. Otherwise, you don't need semicolon. But it is there. If you give also, it's not going to throw error. It is there, but we don't need it.
Okay, sir. So one more thing is that what did you call it as a concatenator? Means I didn't understood what is a concatenation.
Concatenate is joining two string together. When you join two string, good morning, right? We did 55, 44. So we concatenated, we added, we joined 55 and 44 together. So putting two string together is called concatenate. We'll do it string. We'll spend almost like one day full on string only. So there
Okay,
again,
sir.
we'll talk about it. Yeah,
Thank you so much, sir.
sure. Welcome.
So we have only 2 more minutes, so we'll quickly wind up, and then I think Nagesh also wants to talk, and Nilesh also wants to talk. So Nagesh and Nilesh, I think you can talk now. Yeah.
Hi, sir.
Yeah. Hi.
Hey,
Lecture was so awesome, sir.
thank you.
Okay, sir. I have doubt. Not today. ये हम नम्पा और पांडास भी करने वाले हैं क्या?
NumPy or pandas, Santosh,
No,
sir?
so that is not part of our like entire course. So if you see, like we are going to focus only on the Python, okay, not
Core
any of
Python,
the
yes.
core Python basically. So NumPy and Panda basically, Nagesh, we can discuss separately. So
हम लोग को एक बॉर्डर बनाना पड़ेगा ना नागेश, नहीं तो फिर पाइथन तो
yes,
अनलिमिटेड है, वी कैन
correct.
नॉट गो ऑन फॉर एवर.
यार जहाँ हम लोग ने जहाँ देखा था ना वहाँ पे लिखा था कि एमएल के लिए जो यूज होने वाले वो
हाँ
पढ़ने
हाँ,
वाले
तो एमएल में जो कोर्स करते हैं उसमें जरूर कवर करते हैं हम लोग. एमएल का बेसिस ही है NumPy pandas, सर
Yes, so
वहाँ पे हम
ML
लोग
is
कवर करते
complete altogether a very big course. Okay, that is a 4 months course. Okay, so in this course, basically, we are going to focus on the core Python concepts. Yeah, and then we can discuss separately, Nagesh. Yeah.
ओके सर.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I think we are done. So I guess I think last student Sai basically will talk to Sai, and then after that we will close this meeting. So hi Sai, any question from your side?
Hi sir, good evening.
Good evening.
हैं. इवनिंग साई,
Sir, today class is awesome, sir.
थैंक यू.
Your experience is very good, sir. So please tell the any directly coding language. Please tell any theory part after go to coding.
ठीक है, ऐसा ही मेरा यही प्लान है. दैट्स व्हाट आई एम प्लानिंग. ओके, दैट वी विल
This,
फर्स्ट
it's a
demonstrate.
good thing, sir. It is
Yes,
a basic part. Next
yes.
class we will explain theory part. After we will go to coding part, sir. Will easy to understand your job.
Okay, sure, Sai.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sai.
Thank you.
So Rohit, any question from your side as well? I think you also raised your hand. Rohit
Sir,
Verma?
we will do DSA with Python.
No. So this is the basic core Python course. Yeah. Hi Sai, I think I'll unmute Sai first. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. So this is the first basic Python concept and Python course, and we are not going to talk or discuss anything about the DSA.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, so thank you all for joining this class today, and then again tomorrow we can join at the same time 4 p.m. So you'll be getting all updates in your Google chat and also your Telegram group. So thank you.
Hello.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Hello.
Have a good
Hello.
evening.
Hello.
See you
Hello.
tomorrow.